Shabbat Shalom. Rabbi Zerin here, hoping that you are well on this beautiful day. It's coming, friends. Spring is in the air, the crocuses are blooming, and with it we know that Chag HaAviv, the spring festival of Passover, is not far off. Our calendar acknowledges this as well, because this is not just any Shabbat, but rather a weekend that we call Shabbat Parah, a special Shabbat named for the maftir reading that we add on to the end of our weekly Torah portion. This special maftir reading for Shabbat Parah details the ritual of purification that was performed in the days of the Mishkan and the Temple, a purification ritual that was a necessary component of the preparations for bringing the Passover sacrifice. We read it every year in the weeks leading up to Passover as a reminder that it is time to get ready. Now, our preparations look a lot different from the preparations we read about in the Torah. We no longer bring offerings and sacrifice, but we do prepare. We prepare our homes by cleaning. We prepare our kitchens by koshering, our pantries by changing over the types of food that we have. And hopefully, we also prepare ourselves. A key component of the preparations for Passover is ridding our homes and our lives of Chemetz, leavening, that key ingredient that makes the difference between dough turning into bread or matzah. Now, we usually think of Chemetz as an ingredient that we add into food, but we can also think of it as anything that puffs ourselves up more than necessary. This is an idea that goes all the way back to the Talmud. We find it in Masechet Brachot, in a series of prayers offered by rabbis at the end of their personal Amidah. We find a prayer by Rabbi Alexandri who said, Ribon ha'olamim, Master of the universe, it is revealed and known before you that our will is to do your will. And what gets in our way? Seor Shaba'isa, the yeast in the dough, v'shib'ud malchuyot, and the subjugation of the ruling kingdom. Now, the subjugation of the ruling kingdom we can understand. There are always external factors that get in the way of us doing what we want to do and being the people we want to be in the world. But what does Rabbi Alexandri mean by Seor Shaba'isa, the yeast in the dough, getting in the way of doing God's will? Well, Rashi explains by saying that the yeast in the dough means Yetzer hara shebilvavenu hamachamitzenu. The Yetzer hara, the evil inclination within our hearts that machamitzenu, that leavens us, that puffs us up. In other words, according to Rashi's explanation, what Rabbi Alexandri says is that we all strive to do our best, to be the very best people we can be. And sometimes external factors get in our way, and sometimes we have our own internal chametz that puffs us up more than it should, more than it needs to, and that stops us from being the people we want to be. And if Passover is a time when we clean our homes of chametz, then Passover can also be a time when we clean our hearts of the internal chametz that can get in the way of being the people we want to be. So on this Shabbat Parah, when our calendar reminds us that it is time to get ready for the festival, time to prepare ourselves for Passover, let's remember that this preparation is not only a preparation that takes place around us, but also a preparation that can take place inside of us. What is it in your life that you want to be rid of? What is it in your life that has gotten puffed up, that could use a little less leavening, at least for a week before going back to normal at the end of the holiday? What type of spiritual cleansing of chametz do you need this year in order to make Passover truly Zman Chirutenu, the season of our freedom? Shabbat Shalom.